Okay, everyone, I wanted to follow up quickly on this player evaluation tool that I launched over the weekend, FAS Plus, and really just show you an application of it and how I'm kind of using it. So here I'm going to take one club. So I'm given that Sorare have come out with some club cards of late in the Russian league. I thought I'd try and get ahead of it so that we can do some sort of advanced scouting and when they come out with this club. So if we look at Zenit St. Petersburg, again, this year's cards haven't come out yet, but I feel like they will any day now, this week or next. So what I did was basically I went through, I went to Transfer Market and typed out all of the players that are located there. I didn't take the players that are on Zenit in Sorare because there would be players that no longer play there and things like that. So it can be a bit tricky. Definitely also with FIFA Index, they also have dated rosters and things like that. So I felt like Transfer Market was sort of the most reliable for me at this moment. So punch those in. And effectively, as I kind of went down, the players that showed up in Sorare are the ones that have data inputted. So some of these don't have cards from last year. So they still may get cards this year, but we can't really know that until they launch them. So really what you're seeing here are ones that I could actually track and score. So then, as I said, back to my kind of scarcity model. So scarcity in terms of position, and here's the points that they get. I've listed their age here. Ability from FIFA Index, so both the overall and the potential, but potential is what I'm actually scoring. Transfer market value, same thing, it's what I'm scoring here, and then just what the previous one is, just more for interest, I guess. And then I went into their form, typed up their last 5, their last 15, last 40. Of course, the last 15 is what I'm tracking, both the score and the percentage of games played. Again, rewarding this sort of consistent playing time over 15 games. And then we get to kind of scarcity of cards, which you see here and how I've kind of weighted this. Again, go back and check the kind of intro videos if you want to understand the logic behind it and what I did. The one thing I do want to kind of point out here is my goal with building this and my strategy, which is not necessarily yours, is around kind of long-term value. So players that I can develop and spot sort of in their early 20s, maybe late teens, and then sell in sort of 5 years or something like that, as opposed to maximizing a roster that can win cards this year. So that does change things. If I was more for the latter strategy, I might have put more weight on form. I might have also factored in, like somebody messaged me and said, a really good idea around somehow giving additional score to players on teams that play in other tournaments. So, in Champions League, Europa, things like that, because then obviously they play more, they can be more game weeks. Again, if I was looking more in that kind of current day valuation, I would probably tilt things away from things like potential and focus more on some of this stuff. But my goal personally for this is to kind of find those potential, those guys that can be worth 30, 40, 50, $100 million in a couple years time out in the real market, and thus their cards will sort of accumulate as well. So that may not be everyone's strategy, but that's sort of how I'm approaching my Sorare stack. So anyways, when we look at this, we go across, we get kind of the scores, and then I plug in sort of what the 2-week prices are at and what the best offer is at, and again then I get this sort of FAS. So form, score, ability, and scarcity. You'll see a few of these just because, again, no data in Sorare for these players yet. So so if we go across, just looking at the total, like F plus A plus S, certainly something, the higher numbers the better. 12 is a really good score. 13 is even better. But of course, some of these players are worth a lot. This guy's 0.4 Ethereum, pretty pricey. This Malcolm as well, 0.345. So, but you can see here, there's some definitely value if you just kind of eyeball it across at the price versus this. But then we kind of calculate this as well, and we see if we just go on the actual best offer we can see that there's some really good value here. You can get a Wilmar Barrios. Looks to me like a really good find. Definitely scores well. His form was pretty solid. His ability is okay, and pretty strong in terms of scarcity. Not a ton of cards out there for him, and really for that amount of points and the price he's at, this is one that I'd be targeting. And versus some of these other ones where you're paying 0.03 Ethereum for every FAS point, if you will. And then if you want to get kind of just really looking, like do some bargain shopping, like you'd look here and find some really low score or low prices. And this guy here, Ozdoev, nine's not terrible. Again, you can see here, so maybe not the most ability, but scarcity of cards are pretty good, and form is okay. I believe he's pretty young, so let's see here. Oh, 28, okay, maybe not, but certainly somebody that could gain in value over time. This might just be a nice cheap card to get, and you might get some utility out of it, both in game weeks and maybe has a little bit more upside as he's in kind of his prime right now. So there you go. You can kind of pause this and look at this yourself, but I think it gives you a good sense of just how I played this out and how I apply it to different things. I can't possibly scour every single player in the system, but I'll kind of cluster players, like if there is a new team being released, or if I'm trying to maybe fill a certain position in a certain league or a certain game week or something like that. If I need a defender in America or something like that, I can start to do it this way. So have a look, leave some questions if you like. I'll keep chipping away and try to make this as good as it can be. Thanks a lot. See ya.